Covering the Universal Orlando Resort for over 5 years, you are listening to the Unofficial Universal Orlando Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 237 of the Unofficial Universal Orlando Podcast. Your regular teacher is not here today. I will be your assistant teacher here, Darren. Joining me, we have Lee.
Here.
Present. Tracy.
Hey, Seth.
Accounted for. Hunter. Hunter. Okay. Well, let's begin.
Oh, you see, I missed the opportunity. It should have been a Ferris Bueller reference there, shouldn't it? Well, my friend's sister's brother's boyfriend said he saw Hunter pass out at 31 Flavours last night. I heard it was pretty bad. No problem whatsoever.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Good. How are you?
Let's not mention where Hunter is.
Yeah, I'm
he there
guessing
again?
Yeah, but on the other coast.
Well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's happening, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I hope you're
Very
having
jealous.
a good... While we sit here and toil in the podcast newsroom.
Mm-hmm.
So is everything going good for you guys?
Yes.
It is. Yeah.
All right, excellent.
Good.
Well,
And you?
let's keep going good.
Good.
You know, same old.
Yeah, life
Not
doesn't
enough
change
time
that
at the
much.
parks. Just, I need to get back there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, right. Well, let's keep the good feelings going and
Yay.
go right into the Producers Club birthdays. Tracy?
Right. We only have one this month, and that's Sean Meekham, and his birthday is March the 11th. Happy birthday, Sean. Have a lovely day.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Only one.
Only one.
Can't be many left now, actually.
No. Unless you've forgotten a few. It has been
Never gonna
known.
let me forget that. Yes,
No.
yes. I'm a busy boy.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go into the little things with Seth.
Hi everyone, Seth Kabursky, bringing you the last look at all the little things around Universal Orlando for February of 2017. The biggest little news since my last edition was the ticket price increase at Universal Orlando, bringing up all regular ticket prices a few dollars. Maybe they're using some of that ticket price increase on new ceiling fans that were recently installed at the parking garage hub. Recently, we told you about a facial recognition test that Universal was conducting with Universal Express entrances at the Cat in the Hat attraction and also recently at the Spider-Man attraction. Well, just to update, as of my most recent visit, those tests have been concluded. It's possible that they have merely suspended them for a busy President's Day weekend. Keep an eye out, and we'll let you know if they come back in the future. Also in Islands of Adventure, Ripsaw Falls completed its annual refurbishment and is back up and running with no major changes, just some cleaned up paint and repairs. And now Jurassic Park the Ride is down for its annual refurbishment. And last but not least, over at the Toothsome Chocolate Restaurant in City Walk, the milkshakes have shrunk by a couple ounces. You might not notice it, but the cups are slightly smaller now. There's still a lot of toppings, so you'll probably still not be able to finish one on your own. That's all for right now. Until I see you next time, this is Seth Kabursky from Attractions Magazine, touringplans.com, the Unofficial Guides, and Orlando Weekly, bringing you a look at all the little things around Universal Orlando.
Can't finish one on your own. That's where you're wrong, kiddo.
I was going to say it sounds like a challenge.
Yeah, right. I mean, I won't feel good probably afterwards, but I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
I will do it. Yeah, and as you mentioned about ticket prices there, Universal has increased the ticket prices by $5 this year, making them $110 for the one-day single park ticket, and the park hopper tickets that go back and forth between Islands and Universal have increased by $10 to $165.
Thing is,
That's a lot of money.
It is, but again, I think we talk about this every year. How many people at this point buy a one-day ticket? It can't be that many.
Don't forget, we're coming from the UK, so
I
we
know,
don't.
but even people who are going up there, it's more than a one-day resort now. Even Disney fans have to admit it's more than a one day. So,
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people must be paying those prices.
I don't know.
Yeah. But then again, I also think, who would actually wait till they got to the park before they bought a ticket? And yet there's always a full line of people at the box offices buying tickets, and I don't understand it.
Yeah. Going back on to the facial recognition thing, Darren, has your annual pass got your photo on it?
No,
No.
that is only for the
Hotel.
on-site.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't know whether your annual pass had a photo on it, whether that would be able to be used as well.
No, but now that they've gone plastic, I can't imagine it's that far away
Yeah.
from putting the photo on there again. It just makes sense. That's how it was originally on the passes. So
It's going to be very interesting over the next few years to see the implementation of all this coolest stuff that's coming and the facial recognition and everything. It's, they're obviously testing little things out that it's going to be coming in at some point, but in what regard it's going to be is going to be interesting.
it is indeed. So on from that, we've got a word of a little bit of an internal promotion at Universal, huh?
Yes, Mr. Mark Woodbury, who I am desperate to get on this show at some point, but I don't think it's probably ever going to happen, actually got a recent promotion.
Cool.
But I can't find it because I think oh no, that's your show notes, that's why. Yeah, he's been named, is actually a newly created role for him of vice chairman. That doesn't sound like it's a newly created role. You would have thought that role was already there.
Yeah.
But he will continue to serve as president of Universal Creative, and he will also continue to report to Tom Williams, who's the chairman and chief executive officer of Universal Parks and Resorts. Tom Williams said, Mark has been the driving force for creativity, innovation, growth and development across the entire parks group. That's a hell of a job. As we continue our incredible journey, I'm happy that Mark will be by my side, playing a vital role in shaping our future and leading the greatest creative team in the world. Suck on that, Disney. Apparently, he's been at Universal for 28 years at this point. And had his hand in a lot of the major expansions that have come on. So he's seen a lot of changes come to Universal. You think from its...
Yeah.
When Universal Studios opened, 1990? So yeah, he's been there from the very beginning.
1990.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's... Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You hear about Disney execs getting booted every so often. For someone to be in such a high role for such a long time speaks volumes about his value to the resort.
That is true.
It certainly does, yeah.
Or he has some very compromising pictures.
Do you know what? I really like to think that that's the case. In my head now, that's how it's always going to be.
Yeah, but you can definitely tell as soon as he was given the funds, I'm sure the whole time he's wanted to expand like they are now, but they just didn't have the Comcast behind him, that huge funding source. So now that they have that and he's just allowed to do what he wants, he's doing pretty amazing things for the parks. So.
Absolutely, and the stuff that they're doing is bringing money into the parks that they're then plowing back into the parks as well.
Yeah. So, well deserved.
Yes.
Congratulations to Mark Woodbury.
Well done.
We're always here if you want to come on.
Yes.
Let's go into the veggie section.
Woo!
Yeah, okay.
Right. Well, don't you say, okay, I am looking at this picture.
Yeah, I actually put your picture in this week.
You did. And I need a napkin to wipe the drool off my chin. So, yes, continuing the veggie segment and just staying in City Walk, because why not? I'm heading to Red Oven Pizza Bakery.
Awesome place.
Yes. And, oh man, this just looks so good. Now, I'm probably going to absolutely mess up how it's pronounced, but I would pronounce it Spinaci White Pizza.
I'll go with that.
It looks amazing. And what Universal said is a Spinaci White Pizza is a must-try at Red Oven Pizza Bakery on City Walk. It has fresh spinach, mozzarella, taleggio cheese, Parmigiano Reggiano, and diced tomatoes. depending on which side of the world you're on. And I agree. It looks like a yummy Italian creation, which will surely
Surely.
satisfy your cravings.
I only copy and pasted. I'm going to have a look at that and
It
see
says
if that's
surly,
right. It does
I
say
can
that, and
spell.
I only copy and pasted it, so someone needs
But
the backside.
do you know what? That's another thing that I'm going to have to try because it looks amazing. It just looks juicy and...
A lot of different colours that make the poor Darren can't see it.
Oh, it's just got the bright green spinach and the bright red tomato and then just this lovely golden yellow base because obviously it's got the tomato base that usual ones do.
I think I've had that one. I'm not sure. I've been to Red Oven so many times on the way out that I'm not quite sure.
We've
But
only been once.
It's a white spinach pizza, probably.
Yeah. It looks good.
I can't even remember what we got.
Pepperoni.
We got 2.
Pepperoni and I think it was just cheese because your daughter only eats cheese.
Because she's boring.
Mm-hmm.
And we were coming off the back of like
A long flight.
about 15 or 16 hours worth of travelling at that point.
Yeah. It's good pizza though.
It was.
So yes,
Well-
if you've tried it, let me know what it's like.
You know, talking about Red Oven, what I like, it's one of those things that whenever I go on holiday, I love sitting outside eating. Especially in somewhere like City Walk, if you get there like we did, where it was about 7, 8 o'clock, so you've got the people coming out of the parks, it's got a real buzz going on, the sun's just starting to go down. I love that time of night, just
Yeah, it was like
being
the
able
lights
to
start to
chill out.
come on and it was the atmosphere
stunning.
changing. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. It was good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have a couple of good kind of vegetarian options. Like it's not vegan because they're still heavy in the cheese. I don't think there's any cheese alternatives there, but but yeah, a lot of good vegetarian options there anyway. So
Is
it's
this,
a good place to check out. I'm sure we'll hear about more of those.
yes, Tracy, here's a stupid question. Is there such thing as vegan cheese?
Yes, there is.
There is?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not cheese at all.
It's not.
What is it?
I don't know. I'm not vegan.
I'm going to look that up. By definition alone, you think cheese has to be not necessarily vegan because it's made out of milk.
Well, not because I have milk substitutes.
Have you ever heard of toe cheese?
Yeah, let's not go down a different...
Belly button cheese?
No, I've never heard of...
Belly button cheese is always blue.
It is. It's been scientifically proven.
Belly button cheese?
No.
He's not listening.
10 vegan cheeses available in the UK. Where have we going, by the way?
Probably get them at Holland and Barrett.
Tafuti Original Creamy Smooth. It doesn't tell you what it's made of. Just
Probably tofu. It's got
You'd never
tofu.
guessed that it's made from tofu.
That's enough for me.
There you go. Never had tofu.
I'll get you some.
Tofu's whatever you want it to be.
Is it
That's
like
all I'll say.
Quorn? Like a similar thing that you...
Flavorless?
If it was, I'd be eating that because it's cheaper than corn.
Okay. Do you have Quorn in America, Darren?
I think I've heard something about it.
It's literally made down the road from us.
It's weird.
Yes.
Well,
And so concludes Food
And
Around the World.
in fact, Quan, if you're listening, you can send me some freebies.
They
just
won't be listening.
Just, if Lee cuts this out, you won't, but
Oh, no, I'm leaving all this in.
hey, chance you're on. Free advertising for him.
Let's be honest, it's very quiet news-wise at the moment. I think the biggest thing that everyone seems to be waiting for is those soft openings of Jimmy Fallon, which have got to be soon.
yeah, like any moment now, right?
Yeah, I know. I think I saw someone in the annual pass holders group the other day say they got to test ride it, and I don't know whether they were a team member or not. But they said they got to test ride it, so they are doing test rides of it at the moment. So I think we're weeks, maybe not even that, away from potential soft openings. When's it open again? Is it April 26th? Is that right?
I believe so.
Yes.
What do we know? One of the longest running Universal Orlando podcasts. We don't know dates.
Leah's the one that has all the information. It's not on my paper. I have no idea.
Darren and I only turned up to look pretty.
The 6th of April, I was close. I knew I had a 6 in it, and I knew it was April. Yeah, that's not far away then, is it? What, with 5 weeks at this point? So yeah, you're well well in time now for soft openings.
They might be holding off on those, I think, a little bit with them announcing the date so far out like this.
Maybe.
I mean, how far out was Con when they started doing it? It wasn't that far out.
Only a couple of weeks, wasn't it?
I've no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was just a couple of
we've got
weeks.
a few weeks. So yeah, it's
You'll know when it's getting close when you start seeing all the people camping out waiting and the team members going, "What are you hanging around for? There's nothing going on today." That means it might be open in an hour.
Yeah. Look for Universal bloggers lined up.
Yeah. It's true. I know when we were over I think it was the first time we brought the kids over in 2009, different parks. Space Mountain was down for refurb in Magic Kingdom.
gutted.
And we were like walking past and there was a load of cast members outside of it. And I was like, hang on. So I ran over and I was like, is it open? They were like, no, nothing's happening today. It's due to open whenever it was, like 3 or 4 days' time. We got back home and I was listening to, I think it was Inside the Magic, and it opened for soft openings that day we were there, that they told me nothing was going on. I was gutted.
Yeah.
Typical.
Yeah, well, you can't really fault the people out front because that's literally what they're told.
Yeah. Because, especially in this day and age, that if one person walks up and they go, yes, we're doing soft openings in an hour, it's on Twitter, it's on Facebook, and they've got the entire park camped out the front.
Yeah, exactly. And they're not spending their money elsewhere, so that's not a good thing for Universal.
No.
But yeah, so speaking of things equally as terrifying to Lee as vegetarian dining, Halloween Horror Nights dates have been announced.
Woo!
How about that transition, even though we kind of got off of it? I tried to hold on to it and pull it in.
No, it's good.
On select nights from September 15th through November 4th, 2017, the streets of Universal Studios Florida theme park will come alive with hordes of horrifying mutants. Won't it come dead? What hordes? Okay. Mutants, monsters, and maniacs. Explore terrifying haunted houses, brave multiple creature-filled scare zones, enjoy outrageous live shows, and experience many of the park's most exciting rides and attractions. So, yeah, September 15th through November 4th.
Is this officially the longest Halloween Horror Night ever then? It must be.
Yeah, every time. I personally was surprised they didn't go like almost all week, like during the weekdays with it as well.
I find it strange.
I feel like it's getting so close to it.
Yeah.
I find it strange that they've ran it into November when you look at those extra days that they added on last year because of the storm. Was it a storm? I can't even remember what it was now. Yeah,
it was a storm.
And I know Hunter went to one of those last days and he said it was absolutely dead. I'm surprised they've pushed it so far into November.
Well, that's the thing is at that time though nobody had planned to be there at that time.
True.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I suppose none of the sort of multi-day tickets would have had that on either.
No.
Well, I think some of them were granted due to the storm.
Okay.
They got those extra ones. I know, like the ones that had every day, the all event pass, ultimate Rush of Fear.
Yeah,
they definitely had that day on there. I think everybody else did too because I think that's why Hunter went. It was because of the days that they missed on the other one.
What ticket did you get last year, Darren?
Just a one night ticket.
It must have been such a come down from the year before.
It was, but we went to a lot of different haunt stuff, so it was cool.
A bit of a break.
Variety. It was nice too. But this year, I think, I don't know, depending from the rumors, that are flying around, it's going to be probably a year I want to go more than once. So,
well, what rumors are you hearing at the moment, Darren? Let's get into it a little bit.
The Shining was the first one to come out, but then it's kind of called a little bit because Murdy said there was no Stephen King properties on their coast. So it seems like that would be something that would be on both coasts.
Yeah.
And I think that was off of one of their clues. So not quite sure on that. And that's another bummer too, if that's the case too, because Stephen King's It is not on there as well.
I'm hoping they're going to save that for a couple of years.
Heavily rumored one.
So when's the new It coming out? Is that this year?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's October of this year, so it would be a perfect
just
tie-in for it, actually.
But
he was just talking about Hollywood, so it's still possible. you might see them try to split off a little bit more, but because even when they do the same houses on both the coasts, they're very different.
And you look
in
at
most cases.
the Alien versus Predator house from a couple of years ago. They were a prime example of how different, it's like same houses but very different.
Yeah, and Krampus as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it always seems like in that case, the Hollywood tends to take the edge on it. But yeah, so I mean, we've heard those. American Horror Story is what pretty much a shoe-in at this point. But
are we expecting Walking Dead back this year or not?
I'm thinking not, because from what I've heard about the show, has anything really happened like to the point where it would work for the house, like a whole house's worth of?
We haven't watched,
exactly.
We haven't watched it for about 2 seasons now.
No.
So yeah, and I think at this point they're looking to retire that to maybe have American Horror Story take that place. But if they do that, they're gonna have to slow their pace quite a bit. They can't be doing 3 seasons per house, because next year they'll have nothing.
See, I think I emailed you in for the Dead Man's Digest talking about if they did want to do Walking Dead again, I think the ideal way to do it would be to base it on the Telltale game.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it would be really, especially if you could get, because there's cosplayers do like the makeup so that it looks like that graphic style. I think a house like that would be awesome.
I would be all over that. Little Clementine.
I'm just done with Walking Dead.
Yeah,
no zombies.
The Telltale games are really
zero
good.
Zombies.
Yeah. But then it's still dead popular. Look at that Santa Clarita Diet that's on Netflix. You know, they kind of took the zombie genre and changed it a little bit, and that's really good.
That.
Yeah.
I just love zombies.
But then there was the code name.
They were cool.
The code name they put out a couple of weeks ago, which was Brains, which leads, you're automatically going to think zombies.
Yeah, which I hope is a red herring. So
Zombie.
I don't think that would work as a house.
I'd think it was cool.
It would definitely be like a comic relief kind of house, but
yeah, Chucky, the new Chucky film's been banded around a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that called? Can't think what it's called.
Grandson of Chucky.
No, it's not. It's like the
Legacy of Chucky.
No, it's like a name of like a group. It's the
Board
something
of Chucky.
It's not.
The Cult of Chucky.
That's the one. Cult.
Yeah.
Cult of Chucky. Behave yourself. Yeah, they're crap. We watched Child's Play 2. No, the first one with the kids last year, and it's terrible.
Yeah. Even Jade got bored.
It is pretty poor.
When it can't instill some sort of nightmare-inducing fear into an 11-year-old.
It's difficult, isn't it, when you start, because they are going down the route of doing a lot more IPs than they are original houses, and it's difficult to think of stuff that they could do that would really fit. You know, they've done a lot of the iconic stuff now. Mm-hmm. When you think iconic horror films, the only thing that springs to mind that they haven't done is Amityville. At least I think they haven't done it.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
So I can't think of any. They've done Halloween and
Werewolf.
Psycho.
What about like Hellraiser?
Yes, that's something a lot of people
awesome.
clamour for. Yeah.
Pumpkinhead, Candyman.
I was going to say Candyman. Yeah.
See, everyone's still
go down the 80s horror.
I know every year it comes up that everyone's always like, we need a trick or treat house.
Oh yeah,
and that would be so cool. The thing is, like, if you look, I'm friends with Ray Kime, one of the creative team for Halloween Horror Nights on Facebook, and he's been doing a lot of Sam. He makes like the little lollipop things. He's been making a lot of them recently, and it's like, come on, just do it.
Interesting.
Maybe he's been making those for something.
Because they would be awesome. You could think about like the souvenirs you could buy in the park if you got one of those lollies as well. It'd be cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. And they they hinted at it in the Krampus house. They had a lot of. I mean, it's the same director, so they had a lot of homages. They had those throughout the house. So, that's a good potential to be coming this year. I believe it was Mike Atlas said they were working on something this year that he's been wanting to do for a very long time. So
okay, he says that every year, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. But
Um,
I'm hoping that with the with the other hints that we've gotten and from the house and that hopefully it's coming.
I know they've done the remake of Evil Dead, which we watched a couple of weeks ago, and it wasn't actually that good. I'd love to see them do a proper old school Evil Dead.
Well, I mean, the elements are essentially the same.
Yeah, but you need Bruce Campbell lookalikes and cheesy hands and stuff.
Poor effects, yeah, exactly. It would just be a lesser version of that same house, I think, ultimately.
See, I was thinking the other day, and I forgot to look it up. Have they ever done anything like Sleepy Hollow?
I think the problem with Sleepy Hollow is, isn't it a Disney property?
I don't think so. I think the original story was written a long time
I know, but
before
I'm not
Disney
sure
was even
whether
twinkling
Disney
his mother's eye.
can have a certain rights over it or something.
I don't know, because it's a very old story.
Yeah, I know they used the Horseman a lot during Not So Scary as well, so that might make them stray away from it. But it would be really cool to see them do it.
I'm trying to think who released the film. Can't remember.
I can't think.
But it is tough when you think, like, even new stuff now. There's nothing iconic coming out, like, new film wise. A lot of people sort of talk about wanting the Conjuring, but I'm not quite sure how that would work as a house, unless you did sort of Conjuring and Conjuring 2 mixed in together, like an amalgamation of both of them. But you think about, there's not a lot of luck, because obviously, we've talked to Mike before, and one of the things they look for when they're doing houses is multiple locations. I suppose that got thrown out the window a little bit last year, right? Got thrown out a little bit last year with The Exorcist.
Mm-hmm.
But there's only so many times you can kind of go a bit surreal with it before it becomes, it's just the same as The Exorcist house.
Yeah. Just skipping back to Sleepy Hollow. It was written in 1820.
Right.
By Washington Irving. So
but Sleeping Beauty was written God knows how long ago, but I'm pretty sure Disney would have say over anybody trying to do that.
What I'm going down is, the Gothic horrors are amazing. And there's so many out there to choose from.
Yeah.
I like stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, when they went in and tried out the Poe, they had the Poe house that was really successful.
Yeah,
I think they did a really good job with that. Taking elements from literary things would be really cool. I think.
I was gonna say, look at all the Lovecraft stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So I don't know whether it's a thing in America, but we have an English writer over here, horror writer that I'm a big fan of. I've read a lot of his stuff. James Herbert.
Oh yeah, rats.
I don't know whether you've heard of him, Darren.
I have not.
His stuff's awesome. If you ever get a chance to pick it up, it's really good stuff. But it's like very quintessentially English. Stuff like that. He's done like a trilogy of books called Rats, Domain and Lair. They're really good.
They're excellent.
They've made a few films out of them actually. The Haunting, was it The Haunting or The Haunted? With Aidan Quinn in.
It's an old one.
Yeah. I know they've adapted
The Haunting was Nicole Kidman, wasn't it?
Wasn't that The Others?
Yeah, that was The Others.
Oh, that's The Others.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, they've made a couple of his books into films. I know that much.
Because there was one. Was Jeff Goldblum was in it?
No, that was Dean R. Koontz.
Oh, Dean R. Koontz.
That was Hideaway.
That was awesome.
But there's another one, Dean R. Koontz. Is he British or American?
Don't actually know.
I've
read a lot of his stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot they could do with that one, with his stuff. But yeah, we will.
Yeah,
we'll see. I'm sure. I mean, the way things have been going, we're probably gonna get our first announcements very, very soon. It'll probably be the obvious ones. It'll be like American Horror Story or something like that. But
I always like. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I always like this time of year because it's just all speculation and people saying what they'd like to see, and it's just, it's. I enjoy all of that and coming up with ideas.
And then going, we're not going to get to see it, so it doesn't matter anyway, and then crying in the corner.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, we're not going this year.
Unfortunately not.
He's so mean.
Oh.
It depends what happens in the announcements. We might find that money. Depends on what
Yeah.
what they announce.
Well, I've got 2 kids. That's 4 kidneys to
Yep,
to sell.
exactly. If anyone needs a new kidney,
Hey, Universal, do you want some props?
podcast at uorpodcast.com.
Get Joe Rogan to mention the podcast. Maybe we can make enough money to get you
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling coming out and making an announcement didn't make any difference.
Yeah, right.
Anyway.
Yeah. If only she had mentioned us.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. Can you imagine that? I'd have died then, I think. I don't think I'd have just gone, I'm happy now, I'm done.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on to our continuing segment, which is the best seat to ride in. And we're going to go on with Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket.
Yes, we've killed Hounds of Adventure now. So, Darren, you're not going to have any sort of input into this, are you?
Rip Ride Rocket?
Yeah, you'll probably have read a lot of the responses for this already, and I think Darren's going to have a very similar opinion to a lot of the people that have written in. There's some funny comments in here.
I've learned to keep mine to the end. I want to go first because David Wilson's is hilarious and I want to read it. So I'm going first on this one. David Wilson says, last row, I like that feeling of being pulled over the first hill like a controlled hurling over the edge. You know, like life normally is. Tracy, you want to do that?
Yeah. I've got Ali Schilberg. Good job Hunter isn't here and got that one.
Well, I've already told Ali if he was here, he's getting all hers from now on.
Oh, poor Ali.
No, she was like, no, he needs to do them.
She says, middle row, I can't handle seeing no one when going up that 90-degree angle. Hence, no front row for me.
Crystal Presto says, no preference as long as the touchpad is working to let me access the hidden song list. Smiley face.
There you go. Brian Jennings says, if it's on a coaster track, I enjoy the front row every time. Same here.
Michelle Fletcher says, I don't ride this. It scares the bejesus out of me to think about getting stuck on the climb. Do you know what? That's one of the things that used to stop me from riding it as well. And I just don't allow myself to think about it.
It scares the bejesus out of me. I love that phrase. It's awesome.
Especially when it's said in an Irish accent.
Oh, bejesus.
Oh, okay.
Donna Peter says,
apologise.
I do not ride this ride. Never have liked it. Best seat for this one is not on it.
Holly Cotter says, any seat on this works for me.
And Andy says, front row on this because of the view. Music to pick. Either you pick Evanescence or you're wrong. Okay. There may be some good secret hidden song, but I still need to do that as I never remember how to do it or never remember the number to pick. Question. How come at night some vehicles are lit up and others are not? Or are they just broken?
I think it's probably just broken.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Chris Rook says, front either side, the car lengths are so short that there's no real benefit of sitting anywhere else, in my opinion. You get an unobstructed view of the ride track and park at the front.
Nice. And Sean Hill, the sadist, says, front row for the view going up the lift hill.
Steve Milson Payne says, unable to answer that, as too much salad dodging prevents my unique figure riding this. Maybe next time. Smiley face.
Rob Hoffman says, the best seat is somewhere outside waiting for your friends to get off. It's too rough for me.
Brittany Dwinell says, back outer seat.
Maureen said, never rode it, never will. So the best seat is on the benches at the entrance to the ride.
And Lonnie Clay says, back row, it is an extra thrill to see everyone rising up in front of you in the beginning, not to mention a great way to catch falling wallets of those who did not put them in a locker. I never considered that option.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go into our thoughts on this, and I tend to agree with Maureen that the best seat is waiting for everybody else to go on it. But on the occasion that I do have to go on it, I think the back row is the best for me because it seems like the lift up to the top is the shortest because you kind of get like pulled, like they said, you kind of get pulled over the top, and it's not as worrying to me. Mm-hmm. If I have to, which I hope I don't.
Yeah.
I converted you, didn't I? Because you used to hate it as much as these two did, and then we went on it last time.
Well, it was because of the lift hill problems. Because you'd basically have to knock me out if that got stuck on the lift hill.
I think as well.
Yeah.
Jade's enthusiasm coming off it probably helped. She come off it absolutely buzzing.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I think if you go back and listen to our live episode that we recorded while we were over there, I think she says she's got the highest pitched voice I think I've ever heard her speaking. It was awesome, and you go up and go woo, and down and go woo. I think that's exactly what she says. It's hilarious.
Oh, bless her. She can be cute sometimes.
Sorry, go on.
To be honest, I'm happy just to sit anywhere on it because, as who was it said that the car. It's such a short train.
It's Chris Rook.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't. You get a good view wherever you sat, as far as I'm concerned. You know, it doesn't matter whether you're left or right. There's no middle seat. It's.
Yeah, no, I would tend to agree with that. You might get a bit more whip at the back.
I don't think the train's long enough for you to get so much more whip at the back than you would at the front. Because is it 3 cars?
I can't even remember.
I think it's only 3 cars.
But then I know from like a lot of Darren and Hunter's complaint is that there's those 3 brake stops in it.
Yeah.
That it doesn't tend to get going enough to get any sort of speed up.
No, it's very stop.
So you're not going to get from that back anyway. So now I would tend to agree. I don't think there's not a massive advantage from sitting anywhere specifically.
I don't think so.
It's a nice little showpiece for the front of the park, though.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. You know, I'll defend it to the hilt. And I'm always the one on here that, you know, you and Hunter hate it, and you used to. And then I think, is it an eyesore? Yes.
Oh yeah.
Is it a shadow of what it should have been? Because it was supposed to go out into City Walk
yeah.
and stuff, and that would have been awesome. Yes. Does it fit in with the park? No. But is it cool? Yeah. I like it.
You
And
know, it's
that's
got
bearing in
unique
mind that the
elements and-
first time I rode it, I queued for an hour and 45 minutes in single rider line.
Asta.
Single rider. 3 hours and 15 minutes it took you and Raymond and then me and Raymond to ride it that first time.
It's just bloody stupid.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow. You write down your ticket price. Probably spent a good $20 on that.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
now
crazy.
you like it?
It was. I think it was 2009 when we came over, and we never saw it with less. It'd only been open about 3 months. I actually realised at this point, but I don't.
Oh yeah.
That morning we actually rode. It was the first time we hadn't seen it with anything less than a 90-minute wait.
I think that's probably one of the few rides at Universal you rode before I did. Then
Wow.
if you rode that like 3 months into it, because I don't think I got to Universal. Like I think that was one of the times when it was like a year between visits. So
Wow.
Well, it'll have been the first 2 weeks of November we went out. I'm just going to have a look and see when it opened. Rip Ride Rocket opened. Apparently it's open today, 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. I didn't ask that, but
Good to know.
August 16th, 2009. So September, October, November. So yeah, pretty much 3 months after it opened.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because
I
I think
probably didn't go until like the Horror Nights after that.
right, because the Mummy as well. The Mummy had only been open about 3 or 4 months when we rode that for the first time.
Nice. Maybe that one too. Then
Yeah, we went in the
Speaking
September,
of-
and I think it opened in the May.
Wow.
speaking of, that's a good transition.
That
because
is,
the
yeah.
next
it
one-
is.
Smooth.
We're Revenge of the Mummy.
I'm on
So-
fire lately.
Yeah,
Should be.
we'll just
Ah,
keep the same order going there. So Sean Hill says front row, but all the seats are good.
And Brittany Dwinell says front row.
Maureen says front centre.
Holly Cotter says any seat in the first 2 rows.
And Rob Hoffman says, I don't think there's a bad seat on the ride, but I prefer the back.
Steve Milson Payne says middle to rear.
Brian Jennings says just behind the front 2 rows, so 3 or 4 on the outside. Better timing overall for falling wall.
Ah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Chris Rook, says front middle. Again, the cars are relatively squat, so front for me for the unobstructed view. Yes.
Andy says, I think the back for this one. For the first part of the ride, because there's so much to see in some of the rooms, and you might miss some of it sitting in the front. And for the second part, because the back is more intense.
And David Wilson says, I like to be on the far left or far right and in the back row. There's so much to see and take in on the first part of the ride. Also, sometimes in the front, you see the last of the reset from the previous train, but get more of the show from the back row.
Mm-hmm. Donna Pierce, I am not fussy with this one. Every seat is a good seat.
Michelle Fletcher says, any outside seat. The middle seats feel claustrophobic to me.
And Ali Schilberg says front row or back row.
Chris Lepresto says, prefer the front, but all the seats are good.
And Lonnie Clay says, got to be the front, though nothing can beat the time I got there as the ride opened and I got to ride it completely by myself.
Wow.
Never forgot what it was like to have the only voice screaming as my own. That's awesome.
How cool is that?
I think that's like, I think we've rode Men in Black, just us two before.
Yeah.
Which is crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause you don't get the suit.
Definitely done Men in Black by myself and just with Nina.
Yeah, it's terrible though, is it? Because you need that other car, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, like just in our car.
Yeah, oh no, I mean, we've rode it when there's literally only just been me and Tracy.
Oh.
So the other car went off and there was nobody in it.
What you need to be able to do is, when it's just two of you, get in the opposite cars.
That would be cool.
That would be cool.
And battle against each other.
That's now on my bucket list.
Right? I wonder why they didn't do that for you guys.
No, never. Weird.
Huh.
Next trip.
They didn't like you. They didn't like the cut of your jib.
We weren't famous back then.
Aliens. Yeah. Yeah, one look at Lee and they were like, yep, aliens.
I take some grief.
You deserve it.
But yeah, back to the Mummy. I really don't think I have a preference on this one, to be honest. Sit in the front and you can catch like the little I believe it was ET. When you first go into the treasure room, up on the screen, up in the top left hand corner, you can see a little flash of ET for a second. But you can only see if you're in the front row, because by the time the second row gets in the room, it's gone.
Because you got told that on the production tour, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's cool.
So, but yeah, on the back, it's cool. It's probably timed better for the middle and the back rows. But being the kind of person that likes to see as much of behind the scenes as possible, I think it's kind of cool to see that reset before you go in. It gives you more of that like studio feel to the ride. So, I'd probably say the front then.
It depends on the mood I'm in. I like to be on the outside edges, not bothered which.
Yeah,
because I like to like when you're in the treasure room. Because my neck's usually sore from craning around and seeing as much as I can in those few seconds you're in there.
Yeah.
But then when you're in where all the scarabs come pouring out, I like to be in the front because you're right in the thick of it then. But then again, when you have that bit where you shoot backwards, if you're in the back row, for me that's more intense because you see the people in front rise up.
Yeah.
When you do that little drop down. I don't know, I think every row, every seat has its own what's the word I'm looking for?
There's a reason to ride in every seat.
Yeah, each one gives you a different ride, and I think each seat actually is a good seat.
Yeah, because I can't remember who it was said that if you get in the middle, you get the better timing for the wall coming down after the treasure room. But I think if you get out on that left-hand side, you'll obviously get a better view of the fake ending in the middle because you'll be right next to that booth when the mummy animatronic's there.
Yeah.
I think kind of like what we talked about with Rip Ride Rocket. I think at the back, you might get a little bit more speed and a little bit more width, but the coaster sections are so small that I don't think it's going to make a massive...
3 rows? 2 rows? 3? Can't remember.
Come on, Darren, it's your favourite ride.
4 rows. And they're slightly tiered, aren't they?
I can't remember.
Yeah. I don't think there's any whip to that one at all.
Yeah.
It's just one, because it's all in one vehicle, so it's not going to...
One thing I have noticed is sitting at the back, it's not as hot when you have all the flames.
Oh, see, the ceiling flame bit, I love that bit. And I want to be right underneath that. So wherever the seat is that's right directly underneath, that's where I want to be.
You're like dead center.
Yeah, I love that bit.
I just love the ride. We know it so well. We mug for the cameras and...
Oh God, even like after our second trip, we knew where the camera was and we would always mug for it at that point.
Yeah. A lot of times I look the wrong way even now. I don't know. I can just never remember what side it's on. But yeah, so I think that's going to do it for the show. Unless anybody's got anything else.
I think we should mention.
I can't believe we've got this far without mentioning it.
Yeah, well,
Oh my gosh.
we did have when we were talking about Jimmy Fallon. I was going to jump in then, but
Oh yeah, that would have been a perfect
yeah.
transition, wouldn't it? Yeah.
So yeah, tragic news that we'd lost Bill Paxton, 61-year-old, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Complications in surgery, was it? It was
Yeah,
a
he
bit
had
of a
heart
shock.
surgery and apparently had a stroke afterwards.
Wow.
I know. I mean, we've all seen Twitter and Facebook and everywhere just exploded. Just the shock of it. And
Yeah, I mean,
'cause
anyone.
he's only he's not, 61.
It's
That's
not
no
an
age
age, is
at
it?
all.
You know, anyone who's a James Cameron movie fan will have seen, Terminator, Aliens,
Do you know
Titanic, The Abyss. Well, no, he wasn't in it. Was he in The Abyss? No.
the quotes that I've seen out there as well? You know, the main one's been
Game over, man.
That's
Game
the
over.
one. Yeah. And there was a real nice thing. I'm sure plenty of people have seen it. It really touched me. The Storm Chasers, obviously the Twister. All the Storm Chasers went out and set the coordinates. So now on the map, it says BP.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's fantastic. And obviously a well-loved guy from the outpouring of grief and lovely things that have been said about him.
It wasn't that long ago. He was still working because he was in, was it the second or third season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., wasn't he?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think
And it just
he was
makes
still
that-
working. He was just having an operation.
And it just makes the closing of Twister more poignant with all those pictures of everybody dressed up like him.
Yeah.
Out front. So that's.
I said to Lee, I wondered if there'd be anything laid near that building for him.
Yeah.
I don't know whether if anybody's done anything.
It'd be nice if they left his director's chair out somewhere.
Yeah, that would be cool.
There in the
that'd
queue.
be nice.
Because, it would still kind of fit in the Fallon ride or whatever.
Yeah.
They could still just have it sitting off to the side. I think that would be a cool gesture.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, really sad. I didn't want to get through the show really without saying something.
that's true. I didn't even think of it. But
Everyone complained 2016 took a few away from us. Well, 2017 hasn't been much better so far.
yeah, it seems like it turns out people die all the time, constantly.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Didn't have anything to do with the year. Huh. How about that? Anyways, have a good night, everyone.
Happy note,
What a
yes.
way to end it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I'm just like he's just riding that giant F5 in the sky.
Yeah.
And we're all stuck here in the suck zone. This has been the Unofficial Universal Orlando Podcast.
Excuse me. How do I get out of this chicken outfit?
That's it for another Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Make sure you never miss a show by subscribing on iTunes, and while you're there, please leave us a rating and a review. Listen to us on Stitcher, Google Play, and all your podcast apps. Email us with any questions or comments to podcast@uuopodcast.com, or even better, record your message at speakpipe.com/uuopodcast. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest, keyword UUO Podcast. Check out our blog for even more content at uuopodcast.com. Well, that's a wrap. See you next week.